Okay. Hello, good evening, sir.
Good
Okay,
evening, brother.
okay. So for the content that we'll be looking at in our Sage 50 training class, these are the contents we'll be looking on how you can get acquainted with the Sage 50 application, which is very important. Okay. And also, we'll be looking at setting up of a company. It's also part of the very first task, which is very important, that you're able to set up an application like that of Sage. So as part of the setup process, you can see the first option we have here is creating a Sage 50 company. So it's very important. If I should navigate to the application, which is this, okay, I believe you can see this little drop down I just brought in, Sage 50 Premium Accounting. So you can see right here that the very first task is to create your company file. And it always starts with that. And you can see right here that we have some drop-down options like open a sample company. We have create a new company, restore from backup, select an existing company. So it's very important that you're able to understand this, since this is the very first task. So while creating a new company, it's very important that you have already gotten the company information. Okay, it's very important. You must have ensured that company informations have already been prepared. And it's also part of the process here that you also need to know the business type. Is it a subsidiary kind of company? You also need to know the accounting method and what posting method you want to use for the company. So by the time I begin that very step, which is what we'll be looking at today, you will understand how that works perfectly. So one thing is to create your company. Another thing is for you to be able to protect your company data. And it's very important here in Sage that you are able to protect your company data. Now, when it comes to protecting your company data, what it generally means is just the security aspect, which you must be able to ensure that your data or your application is well secured, in as much as you will be setting up other persons who are being referred to as users who will be using this application, provided at that point you are the super user. Okay, so it's very important
Okay.
that that functions properly for you. A minute. Okay, so setting up is very important. It's an aspect that you cannot do without. So it's very important that you understand how to set up Sage 50 company file. We call it a company file because at that point, it becomes a particular file where you will be doing all your postings and all your recording, so on and so forth. And the whole essence of an accounting application is being designed to ensure that the entire accounting process within the organization or the firm in which you want to use it for, that you are able to use it perfectly. And another thing that you can also do, if you look in here, we have converting a company. So you can convert a company. You can also set up customer default. Of course, these are important, like that of setting up inventory default. You will see all this. Okay, so that's just for the aspect of setup. Setup is very important. So throughout the class, you will understand how to set up. Then we have using the general ledger, which is very important. Normally, this is associated with what we call the chart of accounts, which is also an important area as far as the application is concerned. So you must be able to create accounts. You must be able to use those accounts, because if, for example, you want to record expenses and you want to pay bills, The only way you can do it is through, ensuring that the important or those expense accounts that are very important are being created. For example, you might want to pay bills, you want to pay your vendors. You'll be asking questions like, how do I get to the payments window? How do I select the vendor ID? How do I enter, cash accounts or payment method? How do I select which invoice to pay? All those are very important aspects as far as recording expenses and paying bills is concerned. We also have the sales tax aspect, which is also very important for you to put into consideration. So yeah, instead you'll be learning a lot of things in this class, and entering records could be your customer records, your vendor records, and entering what we call beginning balances. Because for example, let's say we are in November now, and if yesterday was 31st of October, and provided we might have decided that yes, we want to move all our information to our data into the system. Okay, at that point, there could be balances from maybe our customers' balances, outstanding balances. So at that point, those balances becomes what we call beginning balance. So when you are migrating to an accounting application, you must put into consideration those outstanding balance. As you're getting all information, you must ensure that you have already stated out those balances so you can also capture it, since the system is being designed to keep track and take care of outstanding balances. So it's very important that you look into that. We also have under entering records, you also enter record for your inventory, because every organization must either have an inventory or service. So inventory here is just all about managing inventory and services. So in the course of the program, we'll be looking at how you can keep track of your inventory, how you can customize your inventory, the reporting aspect of your inventory, and a lot of things that you need to look into, things like things to think about before you enter inventory items. You need to understand item classes, and all these things are important if you must be able to set up an inventory item or a service. And it's very important in this training. I will show you how to enter inventory, how to delete an inventory, how to purchase an inventory, how to even sell an inventory item. And all that is also very important for you to take note of. We also have the job aspect, which is also very important. Okay, you're applying inventory items to jobs. All these are very important for you. And the account receivables aspect, and also that of the account payables. And you can see right here again, we have managing inventory, which is being separated, for you to see, Okay, someone is asking a question about serial number. I don't know. At Sahamed. Hello, Sahamed.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Have you downloaded the application?
It's still on the network.
It's still loading.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, there's
Thank
no
you.
problem. At Saidris, I
Yeah,
just
me,
received. Okay.
yes,
With you,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. I'm trying to. I went to the stage that it's asking me to put a serial number.
Okay, it asks you to put a serial number. Okay. I'm going to
Yes.
send you the serial number now.
Okay. Okay.
I will send it. Let me send it on WhatsApp. And
All right.
yes, I will send the serial number. So I will also send it to you, Sir Ahmed. I'm also going to send it to you. So what you're going to do
Okay, sir.
is that when you get to the point where serial number is requested, you will just impute exactly what I sent to you. Then at a point, it will ask you for code. You also impute the code that I sent to you. So it's very important that you're able to do that. If it also asks you for company name, the company name is just that it's asking you. It's just for setup and purpose. So you just use the company name that I have forwarded to your WhatsApp just now. Exactly what I forwarded to you. Just use that where you are being asked. So I've sent it to you. I've sent it to you. I'm trying to send it to Sahamed now. Okay. So you all can look into that when you get to that very point, so that you are well guided on that. Okay. So Sage 50 basically is just electronic checkbook, okay? And it's also designed based on the double entry system, which is important to us, even as we are accountants, so we can be able to, get to see this. And like I said, that the very first task is always you being able to walk through the process of setting up your company profile, which is very important for you to do. So we'll be looking into that now. We'll be looking into that. But before we also look into that, there are also some things you also need to take note of. Like I made mention of the accounting basis, which is important. So same way we know that we have the cash basis, we have the accrual basis. These are things you also need to take or put into consideration, most especially when you're working here in Sage 50. All these are very important for you to understand perfectly. Okay, so these are things we'll be looking at, how you can create your payroll, okay, job tracking, time and billing, settings and tools, and also the reporting aspect, because we know definitely that the endpoint of every accounting process is reporting. So you must be able to report, okay? You must be able to generate a good report, since this is important to management. So quickly at this juncture, let us look into the application proper. All right. So we'll just use 5 minutes to do that. Then we are done for today, till tomorrow. All right. So let's go. Let me navigate to the application. So this is the application right here, Sage 50 Premium Accounting. So for sample company, you use this option when you want to open an already existing company on Sage, that Sage already set up. So the purpose of that company is just for you to have to view, get an overview of how Sage 50 is being structured. Okay. But if you don't want to get to look into that, you can proceed immediately to create a new company. Then restore from backup. Of course, you must ensure that your company file is being backed up. So when next you're logging in, instead of selecting, you can just restore from your backup, or it could be that the backup file, you copied it into another system where the Sage is also installed. Then you just say restore from backup, and it will back it up. It will restore it from that backup you've already initially carried out. Then select an existing company. Could be it's an existing company file you've created. All you have to do is to use this option. But at this point, we want to create a new company. And like I said, that it is the very first task which you must perform. So what do? You select this, create a new company, and say, okay. So when you do that, it brings you to this screen. I believe you can see my screen. It brings you to this screen where we have the new company setup screen. If it was to be QuickBooks, QuickBooks calls it the no company open window, but Sage calls it the new company setup screen. Okay, so this screen contains these 6 options: the introduction, name and address, date, list of accounts, and so on. So the purpose of this screen is that you use this screen, or you use this new company setup window to establish basic information about your company, and also specific information about how you want your company to work. Okay, so it's very important that we look into this. And you can see introduction. So now you click on next to move, and when you move, okay, you can see we are now in what column? We are in the name and address section. Name and address section. So here you have to, I call it the company information section, because it majorly includes the name of your company, the address of your company, the telephone of your company, the fax number of your company, the email of your company. You can see section for your website address and other identification numbers, which are also very important, like the postal code, the country, very important. So I can come here if I want to set up this, and I say the name of this company is Blue Hotel Limited. Let's say it's a hotel, Blue Hotel Limited. For the address, I can just say it's in Lekki. Okay, and you definitely will break down the address. So I can say it's in Lekki County. Okay, and I say Ikota. And for the city, I can say for the city, I just say Lagos, or I just say Lekki, Lagos. So for province, you just leave that. Ignore this province, just leave that section. Definitely you can edit that later. Postal code, I can say my postal code is this. And I can say for country, Nigeria. Okay, so you can see the reason why I call this the basic information section. So for the phone number, I can say this is my phone number. And if you have a second phone number and email address, you can also input your email address. and your website of your company. You can also decide to impute that. And we say next. All right. So the next section where we are, okay, you also have to provide necessary information about your company. And you can see here, you have to type in your accounting dates for your company, mostly the fiscal year. Okay, so the fiscal year, I can say, let me use January. So when you're migrating your information, depending on when you want to start, you can also capture that. Okay, if the fiscal year starts from January, you can still do the setup to be January this year. Then when you're doing your postings, you know that definitely you begin from this month. So you ensure that all closing balances are brought forward here. So it's very important. So you can also see the earliest transaction date is the date you convert your company's accounting records to Sage 50. So this date must be within company's current fiscal year. So the earliest transaction date now is going to be, since we are converting our application or our record today. So our earliest transaction date also have to be what captured, because it's going to be the date you convert your manual kind of data. So on today, which we say 1st of November. Okay, then the fiscal year end is the last day of your company's current fiscal year. So you also need to ensure that this is set up. So we can say next. So when you say next, we have the list of accounts. Now the list of accounts is just basically have to do with let me just say the chart of accounts, because here in Sage you can choose to copy one of many chart of accounts, or you can also decide to create your account. So here you can see that accounts are used to organize and report accounting information. So you need to choose how you want your list of accounts to be created, and it's very important that you do that. And we have three options here. Okay, for example, Sage is asking you if you have Sage 50, you want Sage 50 to create a list of accounts based on your business type, or if you...
Hello, Mr. William. Sorry to interrupt, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to the stage where it's telling me, welcome to the stage. What do you want to do? Open a sample company, create new account. So which one should I select?
Create.
Okay.
If you open create, we should be on the same page.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
On the same
So you
page.
can move.
Okay. Thank you.
You move, yes, sir. All right. So the creating of list of accounts is very important. Okay. So if you want to work based on what Sage we provide for your type of business, you can leave it in this option. But if you know that you're already using another application and you just want to do a conversion from that application, you can select the second option, then you next. But if you know you want to build yours from scratch, of course, account is something you should build from scratch. So you use this very option, which we have here. So you can be able to enter and ensure that the setup is done completely. So that's very important. So don't forget the previous section where we looked into, we can go back. Okay, we talked about the fiscal year section, which has to do with your accounting period. So like I said, you have to set up to be your monthly accounting period, or you customize your own fiscal year structure. Okay, after you've entered those basic informations, which are very important for you. Okay, for example, as we proceed, you get to understand under this segment where we have the list of accounts. You will definitely be looking at accounts like the general ledger, which has to do with your chart of accounts and beginning balances, and also accounts for your account receivables, accounts for your payables, and so on and so forth. So all these are very important. So what I'm trying to say in the nutshell is that one of the first things you will want to do after you install your Sage 50 accounting software is to set up your company file. And Sage 50 provides this create a new company wizard or dashboard for you, so that you can be able to ensure that basic information like your business name are all set up. And in addition, like you have seen, you can select your chart of your accounts, okay, where we have lists. You can select the format for it, and can also choose those your accounting periods and every other information that you want, or that you want to go ahead with to do. Okay, so now I can proceed and say next, since I said let me build. So I say next. Now you can see an option comes up that creating your own list of accounts requires you to create all of the accounts your company needs manually before you begin entering transactions. Okay, I can say yes. Do I want to continue and create my own list after creating company? I say yes, I want to do that. So this will now bring up this box for you to select what industry matches your type of business, because every business must fall into a particular industry. So we have the accommodation, and we are using hotel as an example. So I can select accommodation. If it's into manufacturing, medical, they are all here. Real estate and so on, they are all here. Professional service. So I can say accommodation. Once I say accommodation, I can move to next. Okay, so when I move to next, you can see it bringing up the name again for me to check for the last time. Then I say next, and it's going to ask me to confirm this. Okay, if I want to create this, to confirm this. So I can say yes, and I say finish. So with this, it's going to create the database for my company file. So I can be able to get to see the complete, what we call the Sage environment, which is very important for us. So once you have completed your creation of your company file, you can then go right ahead and start using Sage 50 to perform your tasks, like generating your invoice, paying bills, and however, there are some other setup tasks that also must be complete in order for you to have a good workflow here in Sage 50. And you may first want to, go and do those necessary setup. But trust me, when you get to see the environment, it's something that is great. So you can see right here that congratulations, you have successfully created your company. So we can close this, and we expect that it loads up for us to see. You can see here opening the Sage 50 environment. So this is the Sage 50 environment, which I can expand this. Okay, so our time is up. I want to expect you to set up your software. So I'm going to go through this in our next meeting too. So we see how we'll be able to explore the application. So please just try to go through everything.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. William.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir Ahmed.